Welcome to Go Lurk Yourself, a podcast about streaming on the internet. My name is Crunky.
And I am Cherry Cake.
Today we're going to talk about Trials Rising, a new game for cross-platform. It came out for PS4, Xbox One, PC, and I did not check. Is there a Switch version, Cherry?
It is.
Saw?
Yeah,
it's
because
on the
that's
Switch
the one
as well.
I've been playing.
Oh my god, it's like the Switch is a main multi-platform game now, or system now.
It's come so far.
I know. So before we get into talking about that, we're going to talk about some games we've been playing recently. Cherry, other than Trials Rising, what have you been playing?
Actually, this week I managed to finish off Hollow Knight.
Is this the 19th or 20th time you've played through that game?
This is only like the 4th. Yeah.
I need you to give Dee some tips because she was telling me last night she was getting frustrated with being lost.
Yeah, I did a stream yesterday. And I don't usually stream on Saturdays, but I was bored and I really wanted to.
I was out doing a gig last night, and it was the first. I was thinking about it. This might be the first stream of hers that I've missed in like a year.
It was so funny though because I went live and then I got a message on Discord going, "Damn it, Cherry!" And Dee popped in, and obviously because she works during the time that I stream. On a weekend, she can actually watch what I do. So she came into the chat and she was like, I got so mad with this and died so many times. So we're having a little conversation about her playthrough of it as well, which is all quite fun.
The rage was real. Dee doesn't get mad at video games very often, but I saw it last night.
she got quite mad, yeah. I can't imagine Dee gamer.
I walked by the room where she plays and her PC is, and she was just sitting there, frowny face. I go, "What's wrong?" She goes, I'm real mad at this game right now. I said, are you lost or is it just too difficult? She goes, somehow it's both. She goes, I don't know if this is the way I'm supposed to be going, but it's too hard, which tells me I should go the other way. I said, well, it's been my experience in that game that if you can get there, you're not gated by difficulty. You're only gated by abilities. Like if you physically can't get there until you've found some achievements. So if it's too difficult, you can like push through it. I know I've seen some people who like on Hornet will recommend you like, you should go upgrade your weapon. It'll make that fight easier, but it's not impossible. It just makes it easier.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Just when you were saying then, like if you find a route and you're not entirely sure that you're going the right way, just go as far as you can. And you will get stopped if you can't physically go any further. If there's some kind of way that's blocking you because you don't have a certain ability, just turn around and find a different area that you can go and explore. There is no right or wrong way to travel around Hollow Knight. That's one of the reasons that I like it so much, because most of the time when you're just wandering around, it's completely up to you where you want to go. Providing you can get there, and if you can't, go to another area, and then you may find that ability in order to search that area that you got stuck in. Yeah,
classic Metroidvania stuff. I think of games like older games, like 2D games, maybe Strider or I'm trying to think of other games where you could explore a bit and they would use difficulty as an indicator if you're not ready for this area yet. I know Dark Souls famously does this.
Yeah.
But more of a modern game with the catacombs right off the bat is really, really difficult. You can technically get through there, but most new players are going to get wrecked, so don't.
The way that Hollow Knight differs from that is that the enemies that you come across don't really have a level. It's more like you say, you will get stopped if you don't have that ability to get through. It's not because the enemies that you come across are too difficult to take down.
Yeah.
That's where it kind of differs.
I'm trying to think of now. He like turtles up when you get close to him, so you have to have an ability to shoot at him. But you don't even see him until right after you get that ability, I think.
Yeah. Again, it's one of the really neat things about Hollow Knight that when you do get an ability and you discover a new area, it will teach you how to use that ability just very briefly, so you know it's there.
Yeah, in fact, they put you on this the one I'm thinking of, they put you on this little side path that the only way to get through it is, like you said, to finish the tutorial, learn how to use that ability.
Yeah.
It's like we said. This has turned into a Hollow Knight podcast the last couple of episodes, but
it's a good game.
It's a good game. We highly recommend it. And it's so cheap. If you haven't played it, unless you hate Metroidvanias, I would absolutely recommend it.
Yeah. Even then, like surely if you do really hate Metroidvanias, you can just appreciate it for just how pretty it is as well.
Yeah. Have you ever considered maybe something's wrong with you if you hate Metroidvania?
All that.
You like the same games I like, goddammit. Isn't it funny how, like, and it's not just the video games, it's movies and books or whatever, that, like, if someone says they hate something that you absolutely love, you kind of look at them differently. You're like, what the hell's wrong with that person?
Yeah. Did you do that when I said I hated Dark Souls?
No, but, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, have you ever seen a movie, like, something you can't understand how anyone would hate it, and then you find someone who just absolutely shits on it?
Yeah. I take that view with Molly because she hates Frozen.
Oh, she does hate Frozen. But to be fair, she's like, you went through that Molly. For those who listen that don't know, Molly's my daughter.
Yes.
There was a time in your life when you hated musicals, right? You like got annoyed with Disney musicals, or did you always love them?
To be honest, it was a genre that I never really had any experience with. I never watched them as a kid, so.
Okay, you never watched Disney movies as a kid, or just musicals?
Just musicals. Well, it depends what you're classing as musicals. Like, if you're speaking very loosely along the terms of things like...
There are songs where the characters bust out in a song in the middle of the movie. Like Aladdin does this.
But to me, I don't class them as musicals.
Sure, and technically they're not, because they're not...
But I get what you mean. Yeah, I do get what you mean.
So growing up... I'm a bit older than you. I used to watch as a kid, just be exposed to it, like whenever you go to babysitters or at home or, family get-togethers. All these kids are here. Let's pop in a movie for them in the evening, so they'll sit down and chill out. And we'd watch like Cinderella, like the really old Disney movies. Just in the middle of it would bust out in a song. And I, as a kid, I used to hate that part. Well, so Molly took this Frozen. She was going to summer daycare. And they would like watch it every week because a bunch of kids loved it. Yeah. And so she went from being casually disinterested to actively hating it by being forced to watch it multiple weeks over the summer. So I get it.
Yeah, I get that. If it's something that you're kind of on the fence with and then you're forced to watch it over and over and over, I can understand why it would eventually turn into hate.
And I had no idea, but she was pretty young at the time. I want to say 6, 7 when that came out. And
Frozen.
When it came... Yeah, how old's Frozen now?
I think it's about 4 years old.
I think it's older than that. I think. Yeah, Google it real quick.
Yep. It came out in 2013.
2013. Okay, so it's what, 6 years old now?
6 years, yeah.
So that was literally half her life ago, right? So when she was 6 or 7, I came home from the store. I happened to be at the store for something, and they had a little Frozen doll like on sale. And I'm like, I don't buy my daughter enough dolls. I'm gonna get her this little doll.
Yeah,
I've never bought her a doll before or since. Before, because it never occurred to me. You usually get her something for her birthday. Like Dee will get her something for her birthday or Christmas, and I'll get her like the cool tech stuff that I think is cool. And so I bought this doll, and I brought it home, and I go, hey, I found this at the store today. I thought it would be a nice, fun little surprise. And kids, they don't. She didn't realize what she was doing. She looked and goes, "Dad, I hate Frozen." I was like, "Oh, okay." It was a little Frozen doll, and I go, "Oh, okay. Well, I'll throw it in the garbage, I guess. Give it to somebody else.
Send me it. I'll have it."
I think I gave it to the neighbor's kid. It was ridiculous. It was like $5 or less. It was ridiculous. Yeah. I should have known then that it was like an overstock. But anyway, it's just funny that like. You go in and you tell somebody, "Oh, this is my favorite video game of all time." And they're like, "I hate that series."
Yeah. Yes.
Or I think we've met a couple of people now, Bro Zerker being one of them, who have never played a Zelda game.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how the hell does that even happen? It'd be like saying, "I don't know what the sun looks like." It's like, how do you go?
Yeah, I honestly find that really bizarre because this is from my experience from growing up, like. Zelda was a massive thing for me, and I just thought it was a huge franchise, and just everyone knew about it and had played at least one within their lifetime.
Like Mario
especially gamers.
And Sonic, they're like cultural touchstones in video games.
I do find that very bizarre. We'll have to educate him. Don't worry.
Yeah, was it? No, it's Vox is playing the original Link's Awakening, I think.
Yes. Yeah.
Recently, yeah.
Yeah.
Which I think that might be one of the first streams I've ever seen you do.
Yes, Link's Awakening was very, very early on in my streaming career, I guess, because I think I went... I can't remember which one came first, but I did do Link to the Past as well as Link's Awakening, and it was either one of those two that I think you popped in and expressed your love for Zelda, because I know you're a massive Zelda 2 fan.
I like a lot of the console Zeldas. I've just missed out on the handheld ones. The only handheld one I've ever played is Link Between Worlds. And I absolutely loved it. But it was basically like a Link to the Past Redux. Like they added a bunch of mechanics to it, and
yeah,
I think it even takes place in the same map.
Oh, yes. I do remember reading about this one. And again, it's like you, I've missed this one because it's on handheld. But I kind of want to play it because it looks like a really interesting mechanic that they've introduced to that.
It's interesting on a couple of levels. It's got that wall mechanic because it's really rendered in 3D, but it'll zoom in and you can become part of the wall. Like it turns you into a painting on a wall, and then you can like run around on the face. So kind of like Mario, how Mario Odyssey had the 2D sections where you wrap around stuff.
Yeah.
I can't believe I'm just now realizing that's the same company made both those. It's the same damn mechanic.
Oh,
they put you on a 2D plane and wrap around. But also, if you even aside from that thing which was really interesting and it's like well used in the Nintendo way. Like they don't just say, "Oh, here's one time you use it." It's like they keep adding different mechanics to it. You have to use it to beat dungeons, and you have to think in 3D and 2D, like literally there'll be a crack in the wall and you have to figure out how to make yourself into a painting, and then you can like squeeze through that crack when you're in 2D and get to the other side.
Yeah.
So that it was really smartly done. But also, if you take the Link to the Past overworld map, instead of the mechanic of there's a item in every dungeon that you need to find and then beat the boss with it, all the items are sold by this rabbit guy in Link's house.
Oh.
And you can do the dungeons in any order. So literally, it takes away some of the old school frustration from an overworld game like Link to the Past, where you have to find certain things to be able to unlock gated content. So literally, you can't wander in the wrong direction. And this was kind of like a trial balloon before Breath of the Wild, I think. You can see some of the things that ended up becoming in Breath of the Wild. They were Breath of the Wild. I know that game had a huge, long productions cycle, development cycle. So they were probably doing it in the same time when this one came out. But literally, you could not wander the wrong way. If you found a dungeon, you could just go in it. If you didn't have the item that you needed, it would tell you on the outside, go back to the rabbit guy at your house, and you're going to need this to finish this dungeon. Or I don't even think any of the bosses required any certain items. So it was actually, I haven't played it in a few years, but it's actually very interesting on a couple of fronts. And it was because it had that freedom that we're kind of used to now because of Breath of the Wild. It felt refreshing, new and different, even though it literally takes place in the same game world as an older game.
Yeah. So is it one of those, is it similar in the fact, to Breath of the Wild, where you don't necessarily have to do all the dungeons? Can you just go straight to the end boss, or do you have to do the dungeons before that?
It's been just a bit since I played it. I mean, Breath of the Wild came out 2 years ago, and I think it came out a year or two before that. So,
okay.
I want to say that you have to do a certain number of them, but don't hold me to that.
Yeah.
What I did was because I wanted to see and do all the things, because it's got boss battles. I mean, it's one of those games that if you like Zelda and you're playing that one, you don't want to skip any content. You want to do it because it's fun.
Oh yeah.
So I was never like, oh, I just want to get this over with, or even thought about it. But I think you have to collect power crystals or pieces of the Triforce or whatever it is in this game. They all kind of blend together after a while.
Yeah.
You have to collect the Oracle of Aegis.
Well, see, I did attempt to play Oracle of Seasons. No, it was Oracle of Ages that I actually tried, because those two, I think, are intertwined. And I couldn't get into Oracle of Ages because I eventually got stuck, I think, at some point, and I didn't have the willpower in me to go and look up a guide just to find my way past this point. For some reason, it was just one of those that I think if I'd have played it at the time, I would have been okay with it, but now it's getting it's a little bit old.
Yeah, that's the kind of the downfall of a gated that concept, that mid 90s, early 90s concept of the overworld having, even though it seems like you're free to go anywhere, you can't get past certain areas without finding certain items. So you have to do a little bit of backtracking, and I think that kind of game mechanic, we're so spoiled by modern games that it's like, oh, this is a pain in the ass.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Anyway, that was a massive tangent.
Yeah.
So, what have you been playing this week?
I played a little bit of Street Fighter V this week, and I wanted to talk about it a bit because I'm a Street Fighter fan. I actually played Street Fighter 1 back in the day. There was a campground that my adopted dad was in the Navy, and his parents and I took a cross-country trip in an RV to see his ship be commissioned. That's where the ship comes out of the boatyard. They christen it or whatever they call it. They break the champagne bottle out and they launch it out in the ocean, right?
Yeah.
And this is like in the late 80s. I want to say maybe 90, 91. I don't remember the exact year. There was a campground that we stayed at on the way there and the way back, kind of the halfway point on our road trip. And at this campground, they had like a little, little restaurant and place you could go and shower and stuff if you wanted to. And they had a Street Fighter 1 arcade cabinet there. And
wow.
I didn't realize until I came back to my hometown and I went and looked to arcades, looked for them. I couldn't find one anywhere. The idea to randomly run into one of these at a KOA campground in the early 90s is astronomical to me now. But I remember playing it there and thinking, well, this is kind of fun. I probably spent like $5 in quarters on it while we were there, which was a lot back in 1991. But anyway. When Street Fighter 2 came out in the arcades, I played the absolute hell out of it because it was everywhere at the arcades. And then when it came to home consoles, I played it. And then I kind of lost track with it for the Alpha, the Street Fighter 3. I played it at a friend's house, but I wasn't like obsessed with it, played the shit out of it. But the same friend that I had growing up that we played Street Fighter together, when Xbox Live came out, we both bought Street Fighter 4 on launch. That was 2008. Played the absolute piss out of it, and he and I were the only ones who I played randoms, but the only friend of mine and I ever played it was him. Yeah, and we played it. I bet I got 100 hours in it, and he's way better than me, but I got to where I could win about 30-40% of the time. I felt pretty good about myself.
Yeah.
So Street Fighter V comes out a couple years ago, and I'm like, I was at the store. I think I had a brand new PS4 at the time, and I'm like, I'm gonna get this. Fuck yeah, I'm gonna get this. So I got it, and I go home and like half the characters are missing.
Whoa.
And I'm like, what the hell is this shit? And I booted it up and realized that a $60 game has planned DLC. There were a couple characters you could buy right then. Yeah. All the alternate costumes and colors and victory sayings are all DLC.
Aw, what?
I was so pissed that I took the game back like the next day and got $35 in trade-in value for it. I just ate $25 off or $30 basically, half the game cost because I was so mad, and I wrote it off. I'm like, I'm never playing it. And then I found out later what they've done is they've kind of gone and this is Capcom, and this is not what they've been doing lately. This is what they did a couple years ago.
Yeah,
they had a 5-year plan for it, and basically, here's the game if you want it for $60, and then there's a season 1 pass, where all the characters that have come out in season 1, right now you can get the season 1 pass for like $10. But at the time, I think it was $30 because the current pass is $30. So every year, like it's $30 more to get the new bunch of characters, and that royally pissed me off because it's the worst kind of DLC. They're not giving you new innovative things that appear to take a lot of time. They're basically saying, okay, here's Street Fighter. Let's take out this chunk. And we're going to put a price tag on it in this chunk. It's like it's taking stuff away. And it's been 8 years. It was 8 years difference between when this one launched and when the new one launched, because 2016 is when Street Fighter V came out. And like, I have it now on PC because there's a PC version. It went on Steam sale for like $10.
Oh, wow.
And I thought for $10, I'll play the stock characters. Well, then here I am 2 years later. I can get all the season 1 guys for $10. So I'm at now $20 for the base game plus season 1. pass. They're about to come out with season 4 pass right now, and it's $30. And I don't know, I'm really salty about it. That it basically has kept. I'm not a big enough Street Fighter fan as someone who's played this my whole life and probably has 1,000 hours in the franchise. I'm not a big enough Street Fighter fan to pay $60 and then $30 a year. Plus, there's other things. Like if you want, there's a bunch of cosmetic stuff that costs like $6 a piece for cosmetics for each character. You can sort of like Siege, you can buy them one at a time.
Yeah.
And I'm just not doing that. That is the barrier to entry to me. If there's people out there that are, I hope there's a lot of them. I hope for Capcom's sake, I hope there's a lot of them that they make money and just keep making Street Fighter. But there's legit no. I mean, make a smaller game with a smaller cast if you can't afford to make, Street Fighter for $60 with just the stock characters. It seems ridiculous on a 3-decade-old franchise to take things away and put a price tag on it. Like, you've played Street Fighter 2, right?
I played a Street Fighter. I don't know which one it was.
Did you have the little green guy that could turn into electricity named Blanca?
Yes.
Blanca? Yeah, he was not in the game at launch.
Oh, what?
He came out as an expansion character this year.
No, this sucks. All right. Yeah. I completely agree with why you're getting on your high horse about this, because this is garbage. You're paying $60 for a game and then a further $30 just to get what should be included. That's like another game on top of paying for a game every year. It's just greed. It really is just greed.
Yeah, I mean, basically all the big companies are trying to maximize DLC and games as a service costs, and that's what this screams is like. I'm not joking. If you go to Steam right now and look at you can buy like character packs, like different outfits.
Yeah,
there's legit one that's just all the girl characters in bathing suits. How's that not greed? You know what I mean? It's like, hey, we know our audience. We know what these sweaty nerds want.
I mean, in a way, you can't really blame them because, like you say, they know their audience and the type of person that is possibly going to play this, like the majority that is going to play this. So for them to release something like that,
look, as a Street Fighter 5 player, I totally was going to buy it.
Yeah, you are. You've already bought it. What are you talking about?
I have not. I bought the base game for $10, and I bought one expansion. Now I don't mind doing it 2 years later when it's severely reduced.
Yeah,
but that puts me as part of the problem supporting it. So
it's I don't know. It's just a really, really bad image that they're giving off for the Street Fighter franchise, I guess, because like you say, it's not even the full cast of characters that you're accustomed to with the previous games. But then, from a business point of view, why wouldn't you? You know, people are going to buy it because they want their favorite character that might not be included in the original game. So,
yeah, I think, it's hard. I don't have sales data to look at Street Fighter 4 versus Street Fighter 5 or how well it's done or how well it hasn't done, but I did some research, like figuring out, okay, should I wait for do these go on Steam sale? Do they go on Humble Bundle? What's the best way for me to like get the characters that I want? Because buying them outright's not going to be what I do.
Yeah.
But what I found was a lot of discussion about how sleazy it was and a lot of pro players who just don't play it. And there were several articles where the first year where Street Fighter 5 basically had to be redesigned from the ground up because apparently there were like network bugs and hitbox bugs that were not even ready at game's launch.
Oh wow, really? And so this is coming from Capcom that they were developing this game, and but why weren't? I'm so confused about how the bugs, because this is Street Fighter. Were they trying to redevelop it from absolute nothing?
It seemed what you may not know is it's a huge graphical upgrade even over the last one. Like it's,
right, okay.
I don't know that it's a different engine, but it sure looks and feels like a different engine to me.
Right.
It plays like Street Fighter. Like a lot of the a lot of the commands are the same. There are some differences of just the few characters that I've played, but the overall experience is very Street Fighter E, is the best I can say it. But
yeah.
I was playing last night the arcade mode, which if you don't know, you just basically pick a character and you go against a gauntlet, and then you get to the end and fight some of the boss characters who traditionally were boss characters. And in the middle of it, I got challenged by a character I've never seen before. Ooh. His name was, I want to say it was just G. And I was like, is this a human player I'm playing against? I don't know. And it was just, and he was like 10 times harder than the stock characters. And I'm like, I don't understand and he beat me. And I'm like, I'd never seen his moveset before. I didn't know exactly how he attacked. And he would just go in these wombo combos and kick my ass. Yeah. And I was like, I had a question, like, if I beat this guy, do I get to unlock him? I had no idea, and I didn't. I guess I could have Googled it, but I didn't. I just was like, well, whatever, and I just continued on my run.
So similar to like Smash Brothers, if you did the the campaign one, if you come across how you get challenged, then if you beat them, you gain that character.
I mean, I don't know that that's what happens, but there used to be. It felt like Street Fighter 2. If you did a certain string of things correctly, had so many perfects in a row, where you don't get hit, and you don't use a continue, and you beat somebody in a certain amount of time, you can unlock a secret character named Akuma, and you'd fight him at the very end after you beat all the bosses. He would show up, and that's how you can unlock him. So I felt like that, but it was in the middle, not at the end. So I don't know. This is just a long way of saying that I'm really frustrated with it, because I really like Street Fighter and I want to play Street Fighter 5. Like I was talking to Zerker yesterday, and he's like, "Damn you! Now I'm thinking about buying this." And I said, "Hey, if you want to get it and play with me, I'd love it, but huge red flags everywhere. This game is DLC'd out of its fucking mind, so buyer beware." Yeah,
that's fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, I don't, like I've told you multiple times, if it was $60 and then there was $100 worth of cosmetic stuff, I'm happy as a clam. And let me buy it all a la carte, or even have bundles of, you want to see all the guys with their shirts off. Great. That's fine. I put that all in a bundle and let people that want that buy it. Let people who want to buy it all. But to just take base, I mean, you're talking theme songs, different levels, like, and it's really seedy. You go to play the campaign, and it shows the big matrix of all the characters you can pick from, and everyone you don't have access to has a lock on it.
Oh,
you got to pick your level. Here's all the levels you can play, and half of them have locks on them. And I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. This is the thing that I warned about when mobile games did it 15 years ago.
Well, you were a pioneer then, at the time.
At the time, all my gaming buddies were like, "Oh, you're overreacting." I'm like, "No, it's gonna fucking happen."
So you were saying then, like, you only get limited characters. How many is there to choose from in the base game?
The base game, I've unlocked, I think there's 6 with each pass. So I'm trying to do the math real quick. I think there were 10 or 12 in the base game, and then each DLC pass gives you 6 additional.
Right. Okay. So that's 6 a year for 5 years, was it?
I think it's a 5-year plan. They've only announced there's only purchasable today is 3 season passes, and I've seen discussion about a 4th season pass and like speculating who's in it.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. That's what they're doing. Just reading about this Game Facts, that there's like list of who the best characters are, and like some of the season 4 characters are the best characters to play online, and they have like the strongest meta ranking or whatever. So it's like,
they've kept that one then, haven't they?
But that's what I've been playing / fuming about lately.
What a massive run.
Speaking of fuming, how was Trials? Just a full disclosure, I have not played Trials at all. This week, Cherry took the plunge and got the game, and is going to give us her experience with it.
Yeah, this was something that I was really on the fence about buying. I saw it, I can't remember where or when I saw it get announced, but I think it was possibly last year sometime. Anyway,
they showed it at like E3, I think, didn't they?
I honestly can't remember, Krunk. I really don't. But
was it? Who publishes it? Do you know?
Well, it's Ubisoft at least.
Hmm.
Or Ubisoft, sorry. But yeah, this was like, I've played Trials games in the past. So there's been Trials Fusion and, oh God, what's the other one? Trials?
Uprising? No,
No.
This one's called Rising.
This one's Rising, yeah. I can't remember what the other one's called.
Trials Bikey Go Flippy Now?
That one, yes.
I think that's what it's called.
Yeah.
It was a DS release.
That's why no one played it.
It was for 5-year-olds.
So yeah, like this, it's probably no surprise to anyone that's played a previous Trials game. It is not very different, I have to say. For those that don't know what Trials is, basically it's just a 2D side-scrolling motorbike or motocross racing game, and you have different tracks that you play on, and different obstacles that you have to navigate across and just get to the end, get to the finish line. It's a very simple game. It's there's no real complications about it, but the difficulty comes in navigating the tracks because they get difficult. There's a lot to do with balance, coordination in yourself and your rider on the bike as well. You can lean them back and forth and determine if they do a wheelie, if they do a stoppie, or how far they go on a jump, things like that. So that aspect
what's a stoppie?
A stoppie is when you go forward on. It's like doing a reverse wheelie, but you're on the front tire.
Cherry actually rides a motorcycle.
Yes, I do, and I haven't done a stoppie. No, I knew that was coming.
Do you do wheelies?
No, I haven't actually done a wheelie. No,
All right.
I don't trust myself
trying it. Yeah, don't. I was gonna say I could hear it now. Well, I did a wheelie. Bad news is I broke my leg.
Yes, I broke my bike off.
It just takes off on one wheel and goes forever.
Oh God, yeah. The dangers of doing a wheelie is that you can just flip yourself all the way over. It's you have to get the throttle balanced. This
is tangent here. I'll keep it brief. I was downtown during a big. We have a race. I live near Indianapolis, and there's a great big race that happens here, like what you guys would call F1. We have a special version called IndyCar.
Yeah. And
I was driving back from the track one day. I was doing a music gig down there, and there was a guy in the middle of all this traffic, no shirt on. He had pants and shoes, but no shirt on, doing a wheelie down the middle of 2 lanes of traffic at about 65 miles an hour, just as fast as he could go. And I'm like, man, I hope that guy's had some beer, because when he wrecks, it's going to hurt.
I hope someone opened the door on him. God, there's nothing that irritates me more when being a biker myself is when I see other bikers that aren't properly dressed to ride bikes. In England, we have law where you have to ride use a helmet. You have to wear a helmet if you go riding. I know you guys don't employ that in some
areas
states.
do, some don't. I believe in my state they passed a law a couple of years ago. I mean, this has probably been a decade ago I saw that happen.
Yeah. But yeah, it properly irritates me. I know when it gets to summer, it does get hot and you do get sweaty when you wear full gear, but it is so much better than coming off your bike and getting road burn, because my God, that hurts. I can attest to that because I have had that done before, and it's so dangerous. I can't overstate how dangerous it is. If you see someone riding down the road with shorts and a t-shirt on, and I shake my head so hard because I'm just like, dude, if you come off, you're not going to have any skin left.
Yeah.
Like, there is no excuse.
Grinding bone. Yeah.
Yeah.
In Indiana, the law is you have to wear a helmet until you're 18, then it's optional.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, that's
Kids,
weird.
if you have your kid on your bike with them, they have to have a helmet on.
But I would hope that if they do start riding from a younger age with a helmet, then they would just carry that on.
Yeah.
But that's just a personal gripe of mine. That and people not using indicators as well.
Those are turn signals here in the United States
Yeah,
for people
yeah.
listening at home.
Sorry, blinkers.
No.
whatever you wanna
It's
call
not. Just translating. You got to translate when I say something in American. You're like, what?
Huh?
The hell is that?
them. Yeah.
Like when we say biscuits.
Oh,
Cookies.
yeah, we had that conversation quite a few times. Anyway,
Trials Rising is totally awesome, and you love it, right?
yeah.
It was funny because we were on a group chat the other day, and someone's like, "How's Trials going?" And you were like, "Eh."
It's fine.
From what I've heard you say, it sounds to me like it's just the same game again. There's nothing that makes it jump off the screen to you as being a new, fun, different experience. It's just like you could have just taken the old game and put it in and played it and been fine.
Honestly, yes, it is different from Trials Fusion because Fusion was a bit more futuristic. They took a bit more of a sci-fi role with that one, but they've gone back to the previous game, which I still can't think of the name off the top of my head, and they've made it more. It's gone back to like dirt tracks and different outdoor scenery, that kind of thing. It is very similar, but I don't know. It is just a Trials game. There's nothing particularly that stands out to me with it. It's a huge game. I will say that I did a bit of research on it, and it's got over 100 tracks that you can play within the game, and it's set throughout the entire world.
Oh,
so
wow.
it's kind of gone for a more realistic, I guess. I say realistic say that when you come across some of the tracks, it's just insane. But in regards to like settings, they're more realistic. So you end up getting locations like there's a Colosseum that you can play in like the Italian area, and there's also ones that you can. There's one like the Great Wall of China. There's one that I really enjoyed playing, which was set on a Hollywood film set, which is really cool because as you go through the track, the area changes from set to set. So at one point,
neat.
at one point you end up going through like an alien attack area, and the whole screen sort of like turns into 3D, and there's like alien robots at the background having a massive fight. So there is that to it.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it is quite interesting.
The gameplay sounds kind of like blah, or it's back to the basics almost.
Yeah. Especially the single player. To be honest, I don't think there's much more you can do with it. It is, like I say, very simple gameplay. So
yeah,
I don't know how you could make it different in any way. There are different gameplay options that they've included in this one, which I think the newest one that they've done is one called a tandem. So if you want to play like a co-op track with your friend by the side of you, basically what they do is they give you like an extended bike and two players sat on the bike. So you both have to coordinate with each other, and I think you get like 50% each, like in handling and power. So,
oh my god,
yeah, you there's definitely coordination that you have to deal with while riding that.
That sounds like a fight waiting to happen.
Oh god, I've seen gameplay of it. I haven't had a chance to play it yet, so I don't know how difficult it is actually to play. But I've seen it, and it does look really fun. But if you get someone that's quite like the leader in the two of you, and then they go for like they try to do a front flip, and you can't because the other person doesn't know that you're going to do it, so you get halfway round and then end up crashing. So yeah, but it does look kind of fun. That
it reminds me of playing like when they came out with the new Super Mario Brothers on the Wii U, maybe it was the Wii, where you could all play at the same time. And it's like something that people have been like I remember as a kid going, man, I wish two players could play at the same time on Super Mario Brothers. And then you realize when you play, you're like, oh no, this is absolute shit.
No.
People knocking you in the holes and stuff.
Yeah, I definitely equate it to that. Yeah. So if you're going to do the tandem, definitely play it with someone that you get along with and you have quite a good relationship with. Otherwise, you are going to fall out.
Was it Trials Evolution? Was that one of them?
Yes, Trials Evolution, yes.
I had never heard of Trials until the 360 came out.
Yeah.
but apparently it was on PC way back in 2000.
Yeah, it's a really, really old game.
Yeah, and then they came out with an HD version for the Xbox 360.
Yeah, because I think they included some of the original tracks from the original game.
Okay.
In one of them, I don't know if it was Evolution or not, but yeah, I do remember playing that back on the PC when it first came out.
Nice. 2000, were you like 5?
No, I was. I would have been 15, and probably just got our first PC or something like that.
So you would you recommend Trials Rising? It was a budget title. It wasn't real expensive, right?
I wouldn't recommend it for the price it is at now.
Oh, wow.
Currently, it is, I think, on Steam. The PC version is £22, I think, 22 or 23. The Switch one is slightly cheaper. I think it's like 17 or £18. Okay. But I do want to talk about the Switch version because, oh my god, it has some problems. I'm not joking about this.
Oh, wow.
I bought it for the Switch because I wanted something, again, to just kind of relax and have a bit of fun with it. And it's what Trials is. But unfortunately, if you're after some high definition gameplay, don't get it on the Switch. Because the comparisons I've seen comparisons between the Xbox and the PC version compared to the Switch, and it is worlds apart. So I do know that the Switch obviously isn't as powerful as the consoles and PC, but this has problems. It rarely reaches 30 FPS.
Gross.
Yeah. Especially with some of the more detailed tracks that you go on, it is blatantly obvious when it slows down, and it's not good. Especially if you're doing some kind of difficult area in the track, and you have to deal with frame drop. It's horrendous. It really is.
All right, so big no on the Switch version.
It's not just that. Oh, I've got a list.
Oh, I'm sorry. I did not mean to interrupt. Please continue.
Yeah, I really wanted to like this, and it's very unfortunate. I do enjoy playing it, I really do, but it could have been a lot better for the Switch, unfortunately. I've played this for about 8 to 9 hours, and it's crashed on me twice.
Oh, it's crashed on a console.
Wow. Yeah. The first time it just closed out, and it said it's encountered a problem. So, I've had to close it, and that was fine.
Said, sorry, I must return to my home planet, my computer.
Yes. I'll give it credit, though. It didn't lose any of my my game. I picked up exactly from where I left off when it crashed.
Could I just pause you for a second and appreciate 2019 that we're thankful that when our console games crash, they save our files? I mean... We're so lucky that at least saved my file when my console game crashes. Like, it wasn't 5-10 years ago, I play on console because PC is awesome, but it crashes too much. It's like, well, yeah, but now PCs are... I mean, I've had more crashes on consoles this year than I have on my PC.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? Because I would not ever... Like, before probably this generation, I guess, I would never... put those two together, consoles and crashing, games crashing. Yeah. I wouldn't equate them to with each other, but it's something that does happen now, unfortunately.
Yeah, I've had Switch games, I've had PS4 games, and I probably would have Xbox crashes. Well, I've heard about crashes on Anthem, and that's a AAA release, and I've heard it. There's been some dispute now, but I've heard it crashes so much that you have to reset the software, the firmware of your PS4 when it crashes. People thought their systems were getting bricked. And what it was is they have to rebuild the database or something. It's like, you may as well just go to PC gaming if you're doing shit like that. If you have to know how to boot up your system in firmware mode or in safe mode basically, then you may as well just go to PC at that point. Yeah.
Just thinking about it now, I downloaded this for the Switch. So I don't know if it was something to do with the download that made it crash. I don't know if it would be any better on a cartridge or not, but I don't know. I can tell you.
I don't know. I can't say for sure, but I seriously doubt it. If anything, it should be more stable in your memory.
Yeah.
On your hard disk.
The other thing that's included in this is loot crates, surprisingly.
Oh my god.
Yeah. There is an up point to this because they don't throw it in your face. Ubisoft are quite good for doing that with Trials. They are there if you want them, and everything is
cosmetic.
Yeah, everything's purely cosmetic. There is no benefit to buying any of the loot crates. You do get the crates as you level up, so you now earn XP within the game instead of gaining medals, which is something that they've changed, and I know that some people are not happy with this. Okay. So this is a different mechanism that they've introduced in Trials Rising. So every time you level up, you do get a crate, and you do earn in-game currency as well. So there is things that you can buy with the currency in-game. You do also have the option of like using real money to gain purchase credits that you can use to buy stuff. Again, everything is just cosmetic.
You can't buy XP, right?
No.
Okay.
No, you're fine with that. So if there is something...
Are there bikini packs you can buy for your character?
There are hot pants. If you want hot pants, yeah.
Who doesn't?
Well,
that's what I want to know.
Well, if you do want hot pants and you can't be bothered to wait for the loot crate to possibly give you one, bearing in mind the loot crates only ever give you 3 items, so you only ever get 3 items per crate.
I want my hot pants now.
If you want that, you have the option. You can go to the store and you can buy them with the in-game currency. So,
thank God Ubisoft is listening to their customer base finally.
Yeah, so
I think this whole, I'm sorry, I'm totally gonna rant again.
No, go for it.
This whole concept of why play the game to achieve things when you could just buy your way to the end. It's like, I want to pay you money to play less of your game. And that whole thing has permeated. Is that the word? Yeah. I'm permeated. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? This got me so mad I can't even speak. They did this in like that orc game, the Lord of the Rings game from a couple of years ago.
Oh,
where
yeah.
They basically put in these real grindy areas that, oh, guess what? You don't have to buy anything from our shop. You can grind out everything you want. It just takes you 300 hours to do it.
Yeah.
And then when that game bombed and didn't sell very well, they were like, hey, we fixed the end, everybody, come buy our game now, please. And it's like, fuck you. I'm not. I literally loved Shadow of Mordor. Is that what it was called?
Yes.
And the new one's called Shadow of War. I loved Shadow of Mordor. I had a great time playing it. It was a great game. It had a stupid, dumb ending, but I didn't care because the gameplay was so fun. Like the mechanic they introduced and and I'm like, Shadow of War looks good. And it was just like even like the positive reviews were like, we feel really icky about what this game turns into about 50% through, but it's still fun and we totally recommend it. Just don't buy into the DLC. And I'm like, nope, not doing it. Screw you. I'll wait till it's, and what happened? I waited a year and when it bombed and they said, no, we're going to change all this. And then it was on Steam for like $20 and I'm last Christmas and I was still like, no, I'm not buying it.
Yeah. Well, I think, that's one of the problems with Trials Rising, at least anyway, is that they had quite a good setup from the previous ones with the progression system, and I don't know why they've changed it, because now, like you were talking about then,
money.
Well, no, it's not even that.
No, okay.
Like you were talking about grinding then, and I was reading a review. I haven't got this far in the game, but I was reading a review about it, and the way you progress is, like I say, you earn XP from doing tracks and doing various stages, I think they're called. They're called sponsor contract challenges.
Okay.
And within those challenges, you have like 3 tracks that you have to complete and do certain challenges on them. So like, it's either get first place or do so many flips or beat this person or something like that. And towards the end of the game, you have to be at a certain level in order to access further levels, further tracks.
Yeah.
So it ends up where these contracts become mandatory because they give the most XP. But even when they give the most XP, it's not enough. So you have to you have to retrace your steps in order to unlock some of the more advanced tracks, which is just so dumb.
Yeah, I guess for my first thought is, are they trying to reproduce the effect of trying to like get gold medals on all of them, or the highest time? The old game, didn't you have to like, you could get bronze, silver, and gold, or some ranking? Yeah.
But even with that, like that was well set up because you would only need like so many gold medals, or even just so many medals in order to unlock some of the tracks. Oh,
okay.
But that is, it's a medal, whereas the XP is like so much XP.
So now you literally run into a wall where I just beat track 15, but I don't have enough XP to open up 16, so now I got to go backwards and play other ones to get more XP.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
that.
Stupid. That's stupid.
Man,
can we just rain on some games today, or what?
I'm also going to rag on this just a little bit longer.
Okay.
Again, this is purely for the Switch version, but I feel it's quite a significant thing that is wrong and not designed well for the Switch. Is there's no pressure control on the shoulder triggers.
Oh yeah. So you can't ramp up.
Yeah. So
I actually read about this. You can use the right stick, I think, in place of the shoulder button to like get the analog control, but that's so alien if you play the game. It's like exactly. Backwards.
It's fine, like if you can force yourself to use that, but for those that have played Trials previously, it will just feel so alien and really unintuitive. So it's
disappointing.
It is disappointing. Yeah,
you're not mad. You're just disappointed.
Which I was the worst.
Unlike Street Fighter V, which I'm just mad about.
Well, yeah.
Welcome to Go Lurk Yourself. We really do love video games, guys. I promise. We happen to pick some.
I like this game. I do, but there are. It's just a forewarning for those that are curious about buying it, that there are flaws with the Switch version, at least. Yeah. If you get it on PC or console, any other console apart from Switch, I'm assuming you'll be fine, because you'll have pressure triggers, you'll have 60 FPS, you won't, I guess, have any crashes, and it's the one last thing that I want to say is I remember playing this on when it came out for the free demo, which was not too long ago, and immediately when I started playing it, I was like, the controls feel a bit loose, like there's a bit of lag input, I guess, and they haven't fixed that for the full release, so it feels very very sloppy when guiding your person, which is really bad for this type of game.
Yeah, I mean, this game's boiled down to be the basics of flipping cars and stuff, and if the controls are not responsive, then you kind of miss the boat on that. Yeah,
but again, I think this is just solely down to the Switch version.
Wow.
Yeah, so like
that's
I say,
really disappointing.
Yeah, it does have a fair few faults with the game, which I don't know if they can fix it or not, if it's patchable, but it's just a warning for you guys that if you do consider buying it for the Switch, just know that you're going to have some of these issues with it.
Maybe consider buying it for PC or another console.
Yeah, if you're a massive Trials fan, then I would maybe avoid the Switch version and get it for a different console or PC, and you should be fine.
But if you like 30 frames per second and that's not constant and terrible controls, totally get the Switch version, because you play it on the go.
Well, yeah. But, like,
you could have this terrible experience anywhere.
I feel really bad for, like, proper ragging on it, because the base of the game is really fun. It is a really fun game if you can get past these flaws. I've played Trials in the past, like I say, and this is very, very reminiscent of previous ones. And I will continue to play this, even though I don't get 30 FPS and it sometimes crashes and I can't really control my throttle. But
just figure out how to use the right stick.
That is just, no, because what will happen is I'll do that and then I'll probably buy it for the PC and they'll be like, wait, why isn't the right stick working?
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Well, we promise, guys, we do love video games, but I think it's important that when something, especially when it's a sequel, or in both the games we talked at length about today were sequels, it's important to realize that a sequel in a series comes with expectations, and the best game developers and publishers, which I know happen to be driving the DLC stuff, they understand how to, meet those expectations and either improve upon, change in a positive way, or in the case of Street Fighter V and Trials Rising, kind of take Trials Rising Switch version. We don't know. We're not saying anything about the other versions. We haven't played them, but and I haven't played any of them. I just, from the things Sherry has told me, I'm like, if I ever do get this game, I'll try the PC first. But it's important to realize that a sequel comes with expectations, and this is a tired example that I'm sure everyone's sick of hearing about, but Zelda 2 is that way for the NES because it was so radically different. It was like, this is not what we love about Zelda. If we wanted to play Mario, we'd play Mario, because they tried to turn into a somewhat of a 2D side scroller, and but so I think the fact that Cherry, correct me if I'm wrong, that you loved the original Trials so much kind of led you down this road to disappointment with this one, the same way that Street Fighter V left me going, oh man, what happened to Street Fighter?
Yeah, precisely that. Yeah, it's like you were saying, you are expecting something that you know from previous experience, so it is just a slight disappointment when, like, I was just looking up then, Trials Fusion, which I think was the last one in this series, was released 4 years ago. So it's been a while since we've had a Trials game. So I can understand the expectation for this one. And unfortunately, with the Switch version, it does fall a little bit flat. But I'm curious to see what it runs like on PC or any other console, because I feel like it would be a better experience than the Switch.
So there you go. If you're gonna play Street Fighter V, wait till 5 years for all the expansions to come out, and then buy it all at once. And if you want to play Trials, get the PC or big boy console versions.
Pretty much that, yeah.
Well, guys, if you didn't know, we are currently also have some bonus episodes that we've got 2 episodes out now on the Patreon page, which is patreon.com/golurkyourself. We charge $1 per episode or $2 a month for 2 episodes a month. There, we have some exclusive content. There's some tiers you can buy that come with merch if you want, or bonuses. You can go read all about it there. Cherry, where can people get a hold of you on the Twitters or social medias?
Yeah, so if you want to listen to me rant more and just diss games, you can reach me on Twitter. I am at cherrycake518, and I am also on Twitch at twitch.tv/cherrycaketv.
And I'm over on Twitch under the name Crunky, and also on Twitter at Crunky_Twitch, which is 2 N's in Crunky, by the way. But that's all we got for this week, guys. Make sure to tune in next week to hear us totally rag on some more games.
We'll be more positive next week, we promise.
Well, it depends. If the games that we try or play next week are terrible, we might be negative again. But
who knows?
That's how it goes. Yeah, what you're gonna get is our honest opinion. I feel bad that both games we talked at length about today were like really downers, but
yeah.
What are you gonna do? You gotta go with the flow.
Yep.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.